Welcome back, pop culture population. Let's talk issue number 3 of Justice League Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Okay, so issue number 3 came out today, and it was another great addition to what is shaping up to be a really fun crossover title. Just as was teased in issue number 2, in issue number 3 we got some of the auxiliary members of the Justice League. Some of those that were included were Beast Boy, Supergirl, Green Arrow, and Shazam. Now, as a Power Rangers fan, I have to say I was a little disappointed in the fact that this issue kind of painted the Power Rangers to be the weak links in this crossover team-up. And that's even made apparent in page 1 of this issue. On page 1, Batman kind of calls out Lord Zedd's kind of go-to strategy with dealing with the Power Rangers, which is to split the team members up. And we immediately see that although that normally would be a problem for the Power Rangers, it's not so much of a problem for the Justice League members. Because after all, the Justice League members are kind of independent entities that only come together when the Earth is under a major threat. And this fact is kind of highlighted in Wonder Woman's response to Batman, which is when Batman says that Lord Zedd is trying to divide them, Wonder Woman simply says, "So we divide." For anybody that knows the nature of the Power Rangers, we immediately know that this would be a much bigger problem for the Power Rangers if they were by themselves, because they are stronger together. But regardless, due to the Power Rangers' insistence on helping, they kind of form small groups and go out into the individual cities to save the day. Something that I found funny in this issue has to do with the way the Power Rangers kind of tackle these monsters of the week. Right before the core Justice League members go to attack these giant kaiju creatures, Trini states that they'll need the Power Rangers because the Power Rangers know how to handle these creatures. But then later on, when they're actually fighting the monsters, Wonder Woman asks Kimberly the Pink Ranger what's the best way to destroy these creatures, and Kimberly simply replies by saying, "Just keep hitting them and eventually they'll disappear." If I was Wonder Woman in that moment, I would have been thinking, did I really need your advice for this? But I don't know, maybe that was the writer's attempt at teenager logic. Who knows? Another slight problem that I have with this issue is that I feel like Batman's coming across a little bit like a jerk in this. And as a Batman fan, I kind of understand his skepticism and everything, and I get that's who he is. But I just feel that in this, it seems a little forced. And because of Batman's standoffish demeanor, I kind of like how Zack immediately puts him in his place. So when Batman's griping about not knowing whether to trust the Power Rangers or not, Zack is kind of like, "Shut up, listen, if you want me to take you to where the monsters are, get in the Mastodon." And I'll tell you, that one line made this issue worth it for me. Having the Black Ranger tell Batman, "Shut up and get in the Mastodon." Can it get any better? Now, I will give the writer some props for including some key DC characters in this that kind of make the Power Rangers more believable in this DC universe. And namely, those are members of the Teen Titans and Shazam. The Teen Titan members and Shazam kind of reflect the things about the Power Rangers which might make them unbelievable in this DC universe. The Teen Titans simply because they're teenagers but yet still superheroes. And Shazam is important because he kind of parallels the Power Rangers' powers. Right? So Billy Bastion, he shouts the word Shazam and he turns into Shazam while the Power Rangers do their morphing call and morph. It's a really cool parallel that this issue kind of alludes to. And while I really appreciated those subtle details, there were some things that kind of made me upset about this issue. The most important is how easily the Zords were defeated. And I mean, I saw this coming. The minute that I saw in issue number 2 that Brainiac was going to be one of the main villains in this, I knew that the Power Rangers were going to have a huge problem since they are so dependent on technology. I just didn't expect for them to be defeated so fast. And this is an issue for me more so because this is only issue number 3. We have 3 more issues to go. If the Power Rangers are already powerless, what can we expect in the future? So the Brainiac drone reveals to Zack that they're taking the Zords to the Power Rangers reality. And this poses a problem for our heroes because now they have to figure out how to get from the DC reality to the MMPR reality. And I have to say, seeing the Brainiac logo on the individual Zords was extremely cool. So we end up with our Power Rangers depowered and relying on the Justice League in order to get their powers back. So like I said, our heroes are trying to figure out how to get to the MMPR reality, and of course it's Billy to the rescue. And let's be honest about it, isn't it always Billy to the rescue? And I especially like how they amplify the fact that Billy is very young and still one of the smartest people on planet Earth. If there was one Power Ranger that I feel could hang with the Justice League on his own, it's Billy. He's a genius, he can repair his own Zord. What does he really need the other Rangers for? So this issue leaves us with Brainiac having taken control of the Zords, taking them back to the MMPR reality, and our heroes trying to find a way to get there. And there really isn't much else to say. My major gripe with these first 3 issues is that they seem like a lot of setup, and we're halfway through the series. Because this is such a huge ensemble cast, it seems as if we're getting kind of like a glossed over narrative and not really one with much depth, which to me is a little disappointing. But I mean, there are 3 issues left, we'll see where they go from here. But if we do just get this glossed over narrative, as a fan of MMPR and of the Justice League, I have to say this still is a worthwhile crossover. Because I'm not the type of person that discounts nostalgia. I consider this crossover kind of an ode to our childhood fantasies, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, if you follow the writer Tom Taylor on Twitter, you know that he is extremely passionate about this crossover. He's even shared drawings that he did as a kid of this particular crossover. He fantasized about this as a child, as did we. And having those childhood fantasies respected as an adult is wonderful and well worth your time. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of Justice League Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue number 3. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. In that moment, if I was Wonder Woman, I would have been like, I didn't.